7 years after Borderlands 2, 5 if you count the pre-sequel, we finally have a new Borderlands game, a new group of vault hunters tasked with exactly that, hunting vaults. Billions of guns, new skills to acquire, and bandits to kill. Finally, it's here. Borderlands 3 is more Borderlands, which I could not be happier about, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, unfortunately, as a really poorly optimized game is what we got at launch. Here is my review for Borderlands 3. And what's going on, Collider Games fans? I'm Caboose, and I am back here on the channel to talk about this game. So let's start off with the things that I liked. It's a Borderlands game. I've been a diehard fan of the franchise since the first game, and I hail Borderlands 2 as one of my favorite games of all time. So I was going into this really hoping we wouldn't see too many drastic changes to the way that a Borderlands game should feel, and I'm happy to say that my muscle memory immediately kicked in from the game's opening moments. And what adds to this are the very subtle but much needed quality of life fixes. From the clamber up onto ledges to the increased movement speed from sliding down hills, this feels like a refined version of the game that I needed. The guns this time around were really handled with care. In the games prior, while they definitely lived up to the bazillion guns mantra, a lot of the guns felt too samey. In Borderlands 3, each manufacturer's weapons have distinct features that make them feel unique from one another. Torgue weapons have the ability to switch between a normal firing mode and sticky detonators that go off after a reload. Maliwan weapons can sometimes switch between elements, and then TDR weapons, you know, the whole guns with legs thing. I think what I love about this is that you will very quickly find out which weapon type you prefer, and that makes the chase for certain weapons that much more fun. It also helps that the gunplay feels perfect in this game. Some of the weapons feel very satisfying, and we're using everything within the game's mechanics. It all feels smooth as butter. All 4 new characters are extremely fun as well. Currently, I've played with Amara, which is this game's Siren, and then Flak, the Beastmaster, and my core group played with the remaining 2 being Mose and Zane. From first and second-hand experience, each character bounces off each other really well. Amara can lift up enemies in the air as your team focuses fire on them. Zane creates a bubble that heals all who stand within it, while also dishing out additional damage to those you shoot outside of it. Flak and the numerous pets that they own can help assist you in the fight, acting as almost a 5th teammate, and then Mose spawns her mech to mow down everything within her path. It's truly awesome when everyone is chaining their abilities together, and the skill trees for each character are extremely in-depth, which makes for some great variety. Myself and my team were often using the respec system in attempt to best optimize our character's damage output, and even still it feels like there's room for improvement, which adds some great replayability for the game. There are also new planets to visit now, and while each one isn't nearly as cool as Athena's, I really like the change in landscape from the usual flat-colored gray Pandora. And there is nothing that beats the first time when you get to travel to a different planet and experience it from within the giant brand new Sanctuary 3. Alright, I've sung some praises. Now we have to get into the negatives. Borderlands 3 is a pretty messy game at launch. I've been pretty lucky in my time playing games that I've not encountered too many bugs or issues that begin to ruin my experience with a game. Unfortunately, Borderlands 3 is my patient zero in that regard. I've been playing the game on my Xbox One X, and for the first time ever, I've had my console crash completely because of this game, and it happened twice. I've encountered endless frame drops, quests that glitch out and prevent me from progressing them until I quit out of the game and then join back in, cutscenes that just don't play for certain members of my group, and oh my goodness, the god-awful menus that feel like a chore to go through. A lot of what I mentioned, while really frustrating, can be excused to an extent, but the menus I cannot forgive. Every time you level up in a Borderlands game, it's always a rush of excitement. You just got a new skill point to spend and upgrade your character with. It should feel like the ultimate reward besides getting a legendary weapon. However, in Borderlands 3, when I level up, I'm immediately rolling my eyes because I have to navigate the menu system at a whopping 5 to 10 frames per second, wait for my skill tree to load after 10 to 15 seconds, then apply my skill point finally. It's brutal, and don't even get me started on equipping weapons or selling them. I'm not sure if it's available on all platforms, but on the Xbox One X, the options menu provides the opportunity to prioritize the game's performance over the resolution, and I thought to myself after seeing this that I've struck gold and I found the perfect fix. but all this did was allow my game to run at 60 FPS 80% of the time instead of 70%. By the time you watch this review, if you're watching it at a later date, it may have already been fixed. A lot of these issues may be a thing of the past, but for the game to launch in this state, it's unacceptable in my opinion, and especially considering how long the development of the game was, for it to take 7 years between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3, and for it to launch this way, I just cannot forgive that. As for some other negatives, I didn't really care for the game's villains. There just wasn't enough there for me. A few intimidating moments and some interesting character designs were just about it when it came to what I liked about the Calypso twins. I think they're fine though. I'm not going to complain about it too much, especially considering the fact that Gearbox had the impossible task of following up Handsome Jack. The story in general is pretty bare bones, although this isn't a major negative to me, as a few unexpected things took place that I don't want to spoil. Just know that this isn't your typical chase after vault keys the entire game, then open the grand vault, and that's it. Overall, I really do love Borderlands 3, and I really did enjoy playing this game. The franchise in general is very near and dear to my heart, but those reasons I just listed are exactly why it's so upsetting that it was optimized as poorly as it is. Still, I had a good time with the game, and I will continue to do so on multiple playthroughs, and hopefully after a few updates, things will run a lot smoother. But considering I'm reviewing the game in its current state and not where it's going to be in a couple of months, I have to give this game a 7 out of 10. And that's it. That's my review of Borderlands 3. I really wanted to love this game a lot more than I did, and a lot of my issues don't have too much to do with the actual game if it's all running and gelling well. When the game works and it's running perfectly smooth, it is so much fun. It's just unfortunate that that isn't at least 90% of the time. There have been a lot of bugs that I have encountered, some that I still didn't even list in the review that I had mentioned here. So hopefully within a month from now, all those things will get smoothed out, a lot of those bugs will get fixed, and those menus will run a lot better than they do currently, and most of those complaints that I have about the game will go away. But considering, like I said, that I'm reviewing the game in its current state, I had to give it the score that I gave it. And with that said, I'm now going to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below about Borderlands 3. What do you think about it if you gotten the chance to play it? And what did you think about my review? I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed this review, you can check out Collider Games for all the other great gaming content that we have available on the channel. And you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've been Caboose. You can also follow me on Twitter. The link for that is going to be in the description. It is @CabooseEK. And I will see you guys later.